Hey, Coach, thanks for the time. Last time we did the pre-game press conference, you talked about how your minimum goal was to get where you are. Obviously, at this point, you've defeated Tigres. This is the new goal. What are you at right now as far as the match for tomorrow night?
The goal is to win, right? When you get into the last 8, I think all 8 teams want to get to the Final Four. So, we're proud of the performance against Tigres, but I think I want to make it clear that we're hitting a standard that we expect our team to hit, right? We played a top team and we put in a performance that not only won the game, but in my opinion, dominated the majority of the game on both sides. So, it set a standard for us. We know that we've been inconsistent this year. So for us, it's about the journey. And we know every game now that you progress through, if we're lucky enough to get the result and to play well, it's going to be difficult. So we just got to prepare, and it's cup football now, right? It's about, win and progress, lose and go home.
Coach, we saw how important Maxi Morales was in the last game. Can you speak a little bit about how that veteranship and being in those big games has rubbed off on some of the younger players and helped them get to their next level in this competition?
Yeah, I think Maxi sets the standard, right? He has set the standard at our football club since he's been here, on impacting the game, on being the difference, on carrying a standard that helped us win in 2021, that helped us get to the final in 2022, and he's playing his part in this team. He's playing a leadership role. He's playing a very important role in the offensive side of our game. He's critical in the defensive side of our game from an organisation point of view, from a communication point of view. So he's just showing how important he is. And I think for Maxi, maybe people had questions around post-injury, whether he would return and how he would return. I have no worries in it because I've seen him rehab. And when you've got a guy like Maxi Morales in your squad, you got more chance of winning than losing.
Coach, you guys have been amazing. Last game was clutch. The atmosphere was amazing. You're going into a very tough place to play. How are you instilling in those guys to kind of keep that same mentality as last week? And also, after this all ends, however it ends, are you instilling in these guys to take these games when it's our playoff time now, to know that they've kind of been there already? Almost dress rehearsal for the playoffs.
I totally agree. I think, we have a huge desire to progress in the competition. We want to be a winning team, but we also have to be realistic that this team is growing every day. This team is progressing throughout the year. The aim for us is to be able to play against teams like Tigres and win, right? We did that, but we also went to Cincinnati and played really well, but didn't get the result. And a game away at Columbus is almost a standard for us. A top team, they are setting the standard in MLS, in the amount of goals that they score, in the amount of games that they win, in their Champions League final, MLS Cup champions. For us, this is where we want to be, it's where we were, and it's where we want to get back to. But it's a process, so whatever the result, and I say again, we have a huge desire to win, we are going there to progress. It's a learning opportunity for us, and I think every time we play these teams and every time we go through these games, I said post-Cincinnati, it's really difficult to take and it's painful. But it's about learning, it's about understanding why that happened, and it's about moving forward in a positive way. You take the learnings from Cincinnati into Tigres and you can win that game, 2-1 with 10 minutes to go under a little bit of pressure. And we see the game out fairly comfortable. We have many moments where we should go 3-1. This will be no different. We're going to be under pressure in this game by Columbus, but we have to put them under pressure. And I think the marker of a top team is how much threat you carry in the game. We have to have a threat in this game, and if we have a threat and we defend well, we're more than capable of winning.
Scott? Just to piggyback a little bit off what George had right there, looking at some of the players that you have, the younger ones in this case, does anybody stand out as having leveled up more than anybody else during all this tournament?
I think in this tournament in particular, it's Christian Macfarlane, right? I think you put a guy in at 17 who's played 4 games previous to going into this competition, and Kevin O'Toole is fit, right? He's ready to go back in the team, but Christian Macfarlane is holding the shirt. So that's what you want, right? When I put younger players in, you understand that you're putting them in and you're exposing them to the game, but sometimes you get a little shining light of somebody that grows a lot faster than what development, what you expect. And for him, he's just embracing it. He's a guy that is just taking it in his stride and is showing that he has real capability.
Okay, so now we'll go to the questions online. So we have some hands up. So please, Michael Allen, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Thanks for making the time. Michael Allen, Post America. Just New York City social media put out a sign on the whiteboard that said "Be effing brave" before the Tigres game. Can you talk about what you mean by that and how you translate that bravery into Columbus on the road, especially because given the road form?
Well, listen, that's actually that's my kit man that puts a message up every day, and he's been here since the inception of the team, so he's had many experiences with this team, whether it be a championship year, whether it be 2 years not making playoffs, whether it be the growth through 2016 to 2020. But I think ultimately, having a young group and going through ups and downs and being a little bit inconsistent and learning from every experience that you have. Bravery is something that is about just take every situation as it comes and move on to the next moment. And whether you're under pressure, whether you make a mistake, whether you enjoy a good part of the play, whether you go 1-0 up, it's about continuing to attack. For us, we know we're at our best when we attack teams, and we respect everybody in this league, whether you're in first place or 14th place in the conference. The games are so even that you have to make sure you're at your best every week. But when you play top teams like Tigres, you have to make sure that you're going to go in there with a fearlessness and if we go and play our game and we get beaten by a better team, then we have work to do and we can get back on the training pitch. But if we don't leave it all out there and we don't go and play the game that we believe helps us win football games, that's disappointing. And the most pleasing part of Tigres was we were brave, we did attack, we carried a lot of the ball, we created chances, but we also defended the game really well.
I will give 2 more questions. The first one to Chris Keniak, please.
Hi, Coach. You talked about kind of getting back to where you feel the team belongs. This tournament is a really quick route into the CONCACAF Champions League, which is a high standard competition. How enticing is that to you, as well as winning the trophy, that it can open up opportunities like that?
We spoke this week as a team, right? You get through the round of 8 into the round of 4 and you've definitely got 2 games. It's almost like playing for 2 trophies. Everybody in the competition now is playing to win League's Cup. But if you don't get the opportunity to play in the final, the 3rd and 4th place playoff carries a Champions League place, which watching Columbus this year and watching the years that Seattle won it, they actually beat us in semi-final, right? Being a competitive team in Champions League against the best team in CONCACAF is a real good marker of being a real special team. And for us, the opportunity to play for a Champions League place, to fight for a trophy, is exactly where we want to be as a team. That is our aim and our goal. But getting through the round of 8, getting through this game is the priority, right? You have to advance to be in the mix to play for the prizes.
Final question, Chris Campbell, please.
Hey, Coach. Chris Campbell from the outfield. Earlier you mentioned the Cincinnati game and how you guys had control of the match and then lost it. When you played the Crew earlier this year, it was a similar situation. You had a lead and they scored 3 goals in 17 minutes. And that kind of put the game away, outside of a good NYCFC performance. How do you approach this game with the team to make sure that those kinds of stretches that can totally take the game away from you don't happen against another quality opponent?
We've used the Columbus game a lot this week because I think it's a real marker of a special team. It's a real marker of a team with resilience. It's a real marker with a team with a real offensive mindset. When you have 10 players against the best team in the league and you're disappointed that you don't take a point. I look at the last 30 minutes of that game and we were the team pushing the game, we were the team creating the chances, we were the team that really was trying to, and it's really interesting in the growth of this group. They're coming off that Columbus game. I think it's because it's a home game, and I think it's because of the way the game ended. It was a really disappointing defeat, but the reality was we played 10 men for 70 minutes, 65 minutes against the best team in the league, against a team that carries the majority of the ball against everybody, against a team that scores 2, 3, 4, you look at 11 in the last 3 games, and the way that we finished, I was really proud of the boys in that game because of the way that they not only stayed in the game, but the way that they finished the game. Almost the team that was carrying the momentum, the team that was really had the fight to try and win. So that is definitely something that we take into the game. We've looked at that game a lot this week in the sense of tactically and how we played in that game. But you know, we know it's a different game away at Columbus, great atmosphere on the road against a difficult team in form. So as I say every week, it's about preparation. If we prepare well, it'll give us the best chance of being in the game and getting a result.